totally crazy. And right here is a very interesting plant. This is something called a Dandelion susume, and the word means ere, and the word susume means a humongous, vibrant plant. And this plant is found in a gourmet tropical forest in Antarctica, where the Mediterranean, Italian Mediterranean, and this is a wonderful plant that is a big plant, but is a kind of plant which you don't want to ruin, and you don't want to cut up, you don't want to wrinkle, you don't want to curl around, you don't want to have things falling out in little dollops or big dollops. So this plant right here is a very interesting plant because there's two parts to this, and I'm going to show you the two parts. Now here we have some loose noodle leaves. These are something called loose noodle leaves, and the loose noodle leaves is a green and white. And the reason is because there was a plant in here. There was a baby animal laying inside this plant, and these plants holded the baby animal. So the reason why they painted it white and green is because he's screaming, and I'm not going to scream for you. And these leaves right here are called lizard pokers. And the reason why they're called lizard pokers is because this is a leaf to be flattened out. Now, this is called a plant that comes alive, and it goes throughout the house, beyond. And these plants really hurt, and they scare me if they were alive, but they're not alive. And these have dead lizards. This is a dead lizard, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's some eyes there and some mouth there, and this is the same thing, because this little shed here is called a pea pod. And because it's a pea pod, it has little beans, fava beans. And they're laying here, they're laying in the plant, and they're hibernating, and they're trying to get away from these plants, because that's why these plants are, because there's a lot of baby things in this plant. This plant is packed with little animals, and they're making sounds, and they're making a sound, and they're making a huff sound or a shush sound, and it sounds like a snake, but it's not that severe. And this part is called lookout eyeball. The things you'll see on top of black strap. And the reason it's very descriptive is because these leaves here are made for many types of scariness. The plant gets big, and then the plant gets small. The plant gets big, and then the plant gets small, because it goes into such unlonely places, and they get small every 30 seconds, and that's why this is called Cilantrodia. And now this is the scary part. Now this is the leaf when it's getting bigger, and here it's getting smaller, so it kind of scares you when it gets bigger. And this leaf is something called a aduso leaf. Now they're all the same, but they have different viewpoints. Now this is called a snake leaf, and you see what I told you about earlier. The leaf was getting small, and then it gets big. And this is a little baby leaf that is small, and then it gets a little bigger. It starts out kind of medium rare or small. and the design comes from watermelon skins. And the reason they did this is because there was a watermelon growing at the bottom of this plant, and it worked its way all the way up. It worked its way from here to 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 here until it came to the top and created skin. Once it got big enough, it created a very interesting design. And it's interesting because it's like that. And this is some more leaves. This is a flapping wings leaf. This is an owl leaf. And I would say an owl leaf because the color is not an owl leaf. This is something called wing string ring. And it has a gray that comes from the skins, gray bubbles. And this is, remember that watermelon skins, but it has a very interesting design. This has a design of some great snake spinach design with some nice green apple maple seed touches pureed in a zucchini or zucchini. And this is a bamboo lake. Now, I'm very surprised that there were some people in 1790. They were in China, in northeastern China, and a panda had a bamboo, and he didn't like it because the taste tasted like very bitter. It tasted like a tea leaf. Pandas hate tea leaves. And it had a mixture of wasps, bees, and many other types of things. So this got spit out. And it looks really beautiful on the outside, but inside, it's just unappealing. And this plant grows happily and unhappily when it gets up to here and up to here. This is the happy life. This is the scary life. That's why all the scary things live up top. And be careful because they may want to get under your face. And this is some very nice, interesting others. This is more plants. And like I told you, these are all the fava beans. This is a fava bean eduso. That's why it's like that. And the bottom has a mixture of the geosphere and the biosphere because of all the dirt and the rocks. And this rock is something called a tan bunny rock. And the tan bunny rock comes from, of course, the bunny leisure custom. And the rock broke, and it created this types of an idea. And this is from northeastern Siberia and northeastern China because of the bamboo, and from northeastern Galilee. The soil has some pintos and some popcorn kernels mixed in with some lovely little selected, and others as well. And this is a very interesting plant. And this has some flowers on it, which is kind of like a tannish ametia. And this is another thing. And these flowers come from Alicia Botti, the opera singer. There's one in Thomas, and there's surely to be one in somewhere else in the world. And this is something to keep the plant alive because this plant can come alive if you take one of the most scary elements, and it can bite you and eat you and do all that evil stuff. That is not going to happen if you do not touch this post. You can touch this post, but you can never ever touch this or this. You can touch the bamboo, but don't crack a hole and touch inside. It is disgusting as poison ivy and poison oak. And a way to get rid of all the yucky stuff from all of the other things we just talked about, pour water, because all the plants and animals hate water because they're afraid of wet. Well, we're not, but they are. So all you do is you pour water on each scaly leaf. Scale all the plants and that will make them die. And don't pour too much like I just did. And those other leaves are fine, but you need to pour water around. It'll drip each element, please. And then you need to pour water along the gossamer because the babies always grow, and you need to pour water on the bamboo because you save all those yuckies. And for this extra stuff, you can save this. Now pour out all the water like a Chinese tip glass. There. Don't make it tipsy. So now what you're going to do is you're going to loosen all the wrinkles and the curves, and then squeeze and tap. And that will put the water in like a tapping for an audience. And then you just spread more water and then tap again. And that prevents you from having to do this, because if you just drizzle like this, more water, less water won't come out of the plant readily. So a very big sponsor is the stems. And the stems are very, very bitter tasting. They taste like ivy ginger. And ivy ginger tastes like crud. And it tastes like the desert. Very unpleasant. And a way to avoid that is to wrinkle the leaves into hardness. And all that mixture will start to evaporate, and you see little crumbs falling down. But don't shake those other leaves. So shake all the leaves and do a little instant drum, and then shake them again, and that will prevent you from having to loosen all the ledgers inside the plant. Now you don't want to loosen it so fast that the leaves will fall off, because the reason we're doing this is because we don't want to have that plant from doing the same thing. So shake it, and that'll put, now look how many crumbs, there's a jillion crumbs. And this plant is a zucchajala mixed in with yellow squash. And this plant is a happy plant, but it's not happy. It gets mad a lot. So all you do is you just tone it, and that'll make it happier. Don't do it real fast, otherwise the plant inside will not be happy. And I know it doesn't seem like very good, but there's if you look inside the plant's not there, but the plant, there's a germ in this plant, which means that all the plants up here or down there are invisible. We just can't see them, like germs, and they're all germs in this plant, and that is exactly what's in there. So just twirl it around, and then while you're doing that, do all the hefties, do all the ledgers, and that'll loosen your waist. And then loosen it, and see how many crumbs fell down, poison and crud and gook. So this is a beautiful plant, but there's some severe moments, and I know what they are. To the top, to the tip top, to the very lonely bottom. And these are some wonderful little things you can do to save a net time if you have nothing to do in your days with all the non-commercial work. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to save a big dandelion lizard plant with a bamboo stick and a yellow zucchini, yellow and orange squash, Nevertwabika. And until I see you in the grass again, I'm Joni Craven. Woot!